3, 2, 1.
When did you start the loan, and when did you get wrecked?
We started end of August, beginning of September, and we were wrecked by the end of September.
What?
Whoa,
A
that
freaking
is-
1 month?
Oh my gosh, that makes it extra hard that you lost 1.1 in under a month.
Dude, that is traumatizing. Welcome to Sat Chats, the Bitcoin podcast where we chat about sats. Sats are the smallest part of a Bitcoin, the same way pennies are the smallest part of a dollar. With Sat Chats, we are building the world's biggest Bitcoin welcome center to serve as your gateway to generational wealth. So, if you are brand new to Bitcoin, we want to chat about sats with you. Head to satchats.com to grab your slot in the studio today. I'm your host, Stuart.
And I'm your co-host, Anna Bevan. And with us today in the virtual studio is number 23, Jake.
Let's go. Jake, are you ready to see the difference between the cash and the sats since you were on the show?
Dude, I'd love to see the difference. Yeah, I have
This
not
is my
done the math.
favorite part.
I mean, as a guy that was 99% into Bitcoin as of last time, this is going to be no surprise to my boy, number 23. But for all the satillionaires in the audience here, we taped with Jake on February 24th. Okay, today is November 11th, which I'm proud to say is a 37-week gap, which means we have in fact achieved a 9-month Bitcoin baby update. We love that. We love that.
Congratulations.
Now, if you had chosen the cashola, 50 bilks, you would be able to get $48.94 worth of stuff today.
$48?
So we have officially broken into the $48 mark with our guests.
Oh.
Which is, ooh, okay, no likey.
No.
But you took the satoshis instead, 52,900 of them to be exact, which in today's terms, if you don't rework them down for inflation like my guy David is talking about in the comments, which I'm starting to understand, but it's just easier to do this, $55.16. So your 52,900 is worth $55.16. That's a 13% spread between the decay of the dollar and the growth of Bitcoin. What do you think about that, man?
It feels so good to be proven right over and over and over again. I never get sick of that. You just wait long enough, you don't sell, you don't panic, and you'll be fine in the long run. That's what I keep trying to tell people.
Yeah, because I mean, I think after you came on, Bitcoin dipped into like the low 80s, right? And if you had been like, uh-oh, this stuff doesn't work and gotten rid of it, you wouldn't be up 13% today. You know, you just kind of, you hang on to it through the quote unquote volatility.
Right.
And it's going to work out.
Yep. Yeah, I think it actually dipped down to like 76 soon after our episode last time.
Which is crazy.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
See,
Never be
just
back
hang
down
in
there
there.
again.
So before we started taping, you told us that you had some unfortunate news to share with us as part of your a Bitcoin and a baby de uperdirt. So
Yeah.
Stuart, that was so bad. That
What?
was so bad.
everybody, you know what I'm saying. I have to slowly introduce our audience to the way I actually talk at home to my daughter, which is in a completely nonsensical version of English.
It is. I've witnessed it. It is.
But you understood that I said Bitcoin baby update, so it's there, dude. Okay. What is that unfortunate news, my friend?
So, a little bit of how I see the future going with Bitcoin is owning Bitcoin and borrowing against it. So basically using it as collateral, and spending in dollars while keeping your Bitcoin, so that you don't have to spend your sats. That being said, I do spend my sats from time to time. I like going to merchants that accept Bitcoin. But when you're building a house, like what me and my wife are doing, you need a little more cash but you don't want to spend your Bitcoin. And so we narrowed down a whole bunch of Bitcoin-backed loans, which now there are a bunch of options. And we settled on a company called Sovryn, Sovryn. And it seemed like very straightforward, very good idea, which is you put up your Bitcoin, you get their native token, which then you can convert into whatever you want. And we converted it into Bitcoin to spend with sats on our construction projects and everything. But in the fine print, and very poorly worded, very deceptively worded, it said that on their platform, if somebody is trying to exchange for their native token, which is the sovereign dollar, and the algorithm states or figures out that the most efficient way for that transaction to take place is to borrow or is to redeem from the lowest collateralized loan on their blockchain, then it will take money from the blockchain, from that loan. And so basically what happened was we put in quite a bit of collateral because it's got to be 110% collateralized at the minimum. And so we did like 400% just to make sure we would never be down low. Well, it turns out this thing happens all the time and just wiped us out. So the only benefit is that we don't owe anything to them anymore. So like our debt is gone too, but our Bitcoin is also gone that we put up for collateral.
So hang on. Let me try to march through this step by step. Because when you said you enjoyed number 24, Freddie's update about losing to meme coins again, I thought you were going to tell us that you decided to buy some fart coin or something. And like, but I don't know why I thought that.
It's a logical conclusion, I think, but yeah, a little different.
Interestingly enough, season 1 was all about me preparing for a conversation with my wife. And in your original episode, I basically sunk my teeth into the neck of how did you and your wife become Bitcoiners together? But season 2 has had almost this theme of Bitcoin as collateral.
Yes.
Which is really interesting to see that kind of emerge over time. And we're getting to where we're getting more and more comfortable with this idea of going to a company like Ledin or Salt to get some kind of collateralized loan. Now let's march through this kind of rapid fire question and answer situation here. You surveyed the landscape. How many companies and their names did you evaluate?
We started off evaluating about 11 companies. Ledin was one of them. Salt was one of them. Coinbase was one of them. Sovryn, obviously. There were a few others in there. I can't really remember right now, but we narrowed it down. In the end, it was Coinbase versus Sovryn.
Interesting. I did not know Coinbase can do loans.
They had the lowest interest rate around. So it was 5% on a Bitcoin-backed loan.
Wow.
What?
That is low because Ledin and Salt.
Really low.
Ledin and Salt are in like that 10 to 12% range. And I know Salt can go down to like 8% if you're basically looking to get only 30% of the value of your Bitcoin back out as fiat. So, but 5% is cray low. Cray low. So
I think it's because it's Coinbase.
they're just like the McDonald's of Bitcoin and they have enough size. Okay. Now, interestingly enough, number 31 Victor was trying to explain to us 8 episodes after yours that when he wanted to buy a home, he would not buy that home with his Bitcoin or even with his own cash. He would go to a decentralized finance platform. He would put his Bitcoin there so that it's less likely for it to get ganked somehow. It would be exchanged for some kind of token, which sounded sketchy to me because it's like, wait, Are you exchanging your Bitcoin for crypto? I don't get that. And then he exchanged the token for US dollars, and then he used the US dollars to buy his home. So Ledin and Salt, it seems like they just take your Bitcoin and then they just deliver fiat directly to you. Victor was from an earlier time where you had to go from Bitcoin to some kind of token to the dollar. It sounds like Sovereign had the same setup. Let me stop and ask you, why did you ultimately land on Sovereign, Sovryn, not to be confused with Sovereign.io, aka my boys who are helping businesses adopt a Bitcoin standard.
Right.
There we go.
But why did you land on them ultimately before you knew things, when things still looked good?
Yeah, so I researched their company quite a bit. They're Scandinavian. They tended to very much focus on Bitcoin. They said all the right things. So like your keys, your crypto, all this kind of stuff. And it seemed very legit, and they're very much in the Bitcoin space, which is interesting. They're the ones building Bitcoin OS, trying to build an operating system off the Bitcoin blockchain on like a layer 2 functionality type deal.
That's crazy.
But so that all of that piled up to kind of lean us towards them. I also just inherently don't trust Coinbase with anything, so I couldn't go with Coinbase in the end. And then the coolest thing, which a couple of other of these companies did, which is basically you don't have a term on the loan, so you can pay it back as you will. And the only fee you pay is a fee up front. There's no interest on it or anything like that. So there are a few companies that do it like that, but Sovereign seemed like they were the most legitimate.
Are they based out of Sweden if they're Scandinavian?
I think they're based out of Sweden, yeah.
Ooh.
As a man from Finland, I'll just leave it there. So you selected them because Salt and Ledin, they do accrue interest on the loan, but you don't have to pay it. And at the end of the year, you can just kind of roll it into the next year because Bitcoin will likely have appreciated to the point where the principal and the interest are still less than the safety threshold of how much value they're willing to lend you against your Bitcoin. Sovereign sounds like for an upfront fee, you don't accrue interest on the loan and can just pay it off as you will. Okay, so you saw that, which is wild. I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, me either. That feels weird.
I don't even. I struggle sometimes to understand how these companies make money, but if they can
the
just
fee
give,
was not small. The fee is not small.
Okay.
So
Okay.
depending on the size of the loan, it's like they're going to make money off of it.
Yeah, it's almost like they're giving themselves a boost of cash sooner rather than later that they can drive into the business. Much like the Disney Vacation Club wants a chunk of change now for 50 years of holidays because they can spend it right now on their...
Just like that.
I'm sure everybody is familiar with that. Now,
definitely.
So you did the thing. You and your wife pulled the trigger. They said, all right, in exchange for your Bitcoin, which you collateralized like a mug. I mean, you talked about 110% to 400%. I think another way to think about it would be for 100% of the value that you deposited with them in the form of Bitcoin, you pulled out 25% worth of cash, you might say, to build this beautiful wooden structure behind you.
Yeah.
Now, what they did at Sovereign is they took the Bitcoin into custody, albeit through the lens of, hey, you still control the keys here. They gave you their own token, and then you were able to exchange their token for US. No, actually, it sounded like you exchanged their token back into Bitcoin to basically then spend the Bitcoin as if it's the same thing as taking the token into US dollars. You're basically hanging on to your Bitcoin, you're pulling value out of it, and you're spending that to build the home.
Yeah, that's exactly right. 'Cause- right.
Okay, so I Was it just what was the main factor of why you went with them over like a leaden or a salt? I mean, I get the Coinbase thing, but the leaden or the salt thing is it the interest rate?
It was the interest rate in the end, yeah.
Okay.
There were some other factors. I had a whole spreadsheet that I had built with all the pros and cons and all the interest rates and everything, and I don't have it with me. Actually, I may have deleted
Love a
it.
good
I don't know.
spreadsheet.
Yeah, you're speaking Anna Bevan's love language. That
love-
and label maker,
Yes.
clipboard.
Yeah.
I mean,
Me and my
going.
wife would get along very well.
I mean, clear boxes for organizational purposes. I could just keep going.
Listen.
actually. Like I love it.
If you Satillionaire are in the audience and you have designs on Anna Bevan, she's giving you her Christmas wish list out loud, and we'll put our PO box in the comments, and you can send gifts to Anna Bevan for Yuletide.
Oh, that would be so sweet.
Let's absolutely do that. There are Boovish. There's some men out there that will do this for you. Now, you did the thing, and what you're saying here is that Sovereign, deep in its fine print, effectively said, look, guys, if some type of liquidation event occurs, okay, let's say Bitcoin's price dips and some people are going to get pushed out of their loans, we have the capacity to go into the least collateralized loan that we have and then take the bit. Like it almost sounds like since you over collateralized your loan, other people who didn't do that messed up in some kind of price dip, and then they came into your loan and took your Bitcoin from you. Like, I don't understand how you lost your Bitcoin.
It's a chain reaction, man. It was wild how quickly it happened. Because also when you actually figure out what they're saying in their wiki, because they have a whole wiki, it's hundreds of pages long. It took me forever to read. I read the whole dadgum thing, but
Too
they
long.
phrase it in such a way that it doesn't register what is actually going to happen and how often it could happen. And so what happens is the lowest collateralized loan gets money taken from theirs, which, since the dollar and Bitcoin are so vastly different, that will make their loan to value ratio expand. So then they'll become a lower or a higher collateralized loan. So they'll go up past me, and then I'll drop down to the bottom. And so that just happened on repeat for like 3 weeks. And by the end, it was gone.
So I still don't get that.
How did they take yours?
Yeah. Are they basically saying, since your loan is healthy, we will borrow from it to cure other people's unhealthy loans until you reach?
Yeah, it doesn't affect other people's loans. It only affects people who are exchanging tokens or currency for their native token, the sovereign dollar, which the sovereign dollar, they claim, in order to stay pegged to the dollar, it's like a stable coin. This is the way it has to be, which is infuriating. But basically what happens is if somebody's collateralized at 300% and there's somebody on the platform who wants to who wants to exchange for sovereign dollars, and the algorithm says, okay, we're going to take from this 300% collateralized loan, then they'll do that. That loan will then, since Bitcoin is worth so much more than the dollar, that loan will then, let's say, be at 410% collateralization, which will then put it above my loan, which making me the lowest collateralized loan. And so then the next time that the sovereign dollar needs to regain its peg to the dollar, someone wants to exchange, they'll borrow from my loan or redeem from my loan.
And that was the piece that you just didn't get when you signed up.
Dude, it's so horribly worded. They make it sound like a good thing. I I'm embarrassed. It was definitely my fault. I should not have done it to begin with. But man, it is very deceptive wording in there.
So, and I literally still don't even understand that. So it makes sense that you wouldn't understand it, even after going through hundreds of pages of FAQs.
Yeah.
My question to you is, when this chain reaction of nonsense occurred, it sounds like they liquidated you to where you basically, since Bitcoin is collateral, it's not like you were left with debt. Everything was zeroed out for you to where the money that you spent, you know, I guess, did you get any money back?
So,
like in the
yes, yeah. In the end, we'll get everything above what our original loan was. So like we'll get all of our collateral back minus the value of the original loan. So like we didn't technically lose anything. I just don't have that Bitcoin anymore. The Bitcoin is in the house.
Yeah. I mean, because you did lose it, because if things had gone to plan, then the Bitcoin would still be inside the loan. You would have your house, and then over time, you could pay down the loan to retrieve your Bitcoin, or as we've seen here in season 2 of Sat Chats, you basically roll the loan over from year to year, and you treat it as a B-lock, is what we're calling it here, a Bitcoin equity line of credit. People got HELOCs, now we got B-locks. You know what I mean?
We're trying to make it happen.
Yeah, it is now.
Kinda
It's going
like
to become a
Fetch.
thing. Yeah, Fetch.
No, that's legit. Yeah, I like it.
Right, so you did lose something, because your B-lock, you could have been drawing on this B-lock for years to come, and now basically you were trying to avoid spending your Bitcoin, and they spent your Bitcoin. So like the thing that you did not want to happen is what happened.
Yeah, my wife's had to console me. I mean, I may have shed some tears that first day.
May have. I would have like lost it. There is no
Yeah,
may have. Like I'd still be, I mean, like, bring me the ice cream. Let's go into like a full little hole of screaming, crying, just in a circle.
There we go. And so many clear organizational boxes would need to be purchased.
So many.
In order to get Anna Bevan back up to an even keel. Now, one thing that I really enjoy is pain.
Sure.
And I have an incredibly high tolerance for it. So I'm interested in feeling some pain right now.
Yeah.
And if you feel comfortable, okay, do you mind sharing with us how much Bitcoin got taken away from you?
Good question. Do I feel comfortable with that? Yeah, why not? 1.1 Bitcoin.
Bro lost a whole coin.
No.
Bro lost a whole coin. Where are these people? I'm done taping this episode. I'm going to walk to Sweden along the ocean floor of the Atlantic, and I'm going to duke it out like Scrappy Doo over here, man. That is not cool. That is not cool. I you know, as a class of 2024, I have yet to reach any real amount of Bitcoin in self-custody. I do have a little chunk in my retirement that I'm happy with, even though I hate that it's paper Bitcoin.
Yeah.
But I'm not a real boy yet in terms of being a Bitcoiner. If I got to whole coiner status and lost that, I would be freaking pissed.
Yeah.
Pissed.
Okay, so here's my question. Are you said earlier that you feel like collateralizing your Bitcoin and getting fiat out of it is sort of where we're going into the future. Mm-hmm. Are you, because of what your experience and what's happened to you, are you less likely to go for a B-lock in the future, or would you consider doing it again?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I would 100% do it again, without a doubt. tend to learn from my mistakes, and I'll do it better the next time. So it will be a far different scenario. It will be, I'll ask around with all my fellow Bitcoin maximalists to have them read the wiki as well, basically. Because I trusted myself probably a little too much, considering I don't even like reading documents like that anyway. So, but yeah, I would do it again in the future. I just wouldn't do it with these fools.
What's your gut check on the next one you would go to if you had to move it right now with no further
great question.
thought process? What was Coinbase truly the runner up for you?
Coinbase was the runner up solely because they had the lowest interest rate, but they had some weird language in theirs as well, which I didn't care for. I'm a huge fan of Jack Mallers, so I like Strike. They just have a little bit higher interest rate, around 9 or 10%. So Strike would probably be my go-to at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So what questions would you ask now that you didn't ask then in approaching your next BLOC?
Wow, these are some fire questions.
Thanks, man. Because I'm asking for myself. I don't want to make this mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is such a good question because I hadn't gotten into the mindset of doing it again yet.
Well, we're here to push the boundaries.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. One question I would ask is, so when I had to do this, I had to sign a smart contract, basically saying like, if this happens, then you get to withdraw from the account. If this happens, then I get to take my Bitcoin back and everything like that. So I would ask far more details about the smart contract, which those are extremely difficult to navigate a lot of times, especially when there's so much wording in them and it's on a foreign platform to me. I would also ask. So I don't think I would ever do it with a company like Sovereign again that has their own blockchain and their own token. Like I think the whole process of getting it off their blockchain was incredibly frustrating. It was the rootstock blockchain, and that's the whole reason we couldn't get the Bitcoin out once I saw it disappearing. It takes, it is a process, and it's a terrible process. So that's one thing I would ask is like, how am I going to get this loan? Like, is it going to be via your own native token? Is it going to be via, you're just going to send me dollars like that? That's something that I've definitely learned from this experience is don't do business with folks who don't do their business on the Bitcoin blockchain.
Ooh, yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, because Sovereign is a company, isn't it? And even though they might have characteristics in common with Bitcoin, like, hey, we've got a blockchain to help things stay savvy, it's not Bitcoin. It's still centralized. It is not decentralized. Sovereign still controls what happens inside its little kingdom, and Bitcoin is so many independently, it's like, and I've hit this phrase a couple of times and I keep forgetting about it. Bitcoin is independently owned and operated, isn't it?
Heck
That's
yeah.
a nice take.
I like
Right?
that.
Yeah, that's nice.
Like each node runner is an independent owner and operator of a Bitcoin franchise. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like we didn't respond fast enough to your really nice phrasing.
I have a couple of phrases that I think are like freaking powerful. And so when I lay them out there,
that's the only reason.
What's that?
I was muted when you said it. That was the only reason that I didn't respond with like gusto.
Yeah, exactly. We'll in post production we'll put a
Eliminate that
gasp.
gap.
We'll put a oh. We'll pipe that in at that moment. You know what I mean? So that people can know how you felt on the inside when I said that.
Great move.
So
I approve.
you know, smart contracts in my mind seem really cool, and I think in the future, all of these rules-based condition triggers will create a ton of efficiency around the world in terms of if this happens, do this next. Like we have that in so many places these days. Like, hey, if it's past 5 p.m., my phone goes on to do not disturb mode so that I can start to disconnect from the internet. And it makes sense to have a smart contract that would automatically trigger to protect me under certain conditions. But in this situation, it seems like the smart contract was not so smart after all. And it basically put the it put all the protection and security into sovereign's side of the street and left you in the lurch attempting to extract this token from their blockchain. And it's not like Bitcoin where you simply send the transaction and off it goes. You had all of this chicanery that comes with interfacing with a company like that. I mean, is that true?
Yeah, no, that's very true. It definitely was not set up. It's just frustrating because like one of the main things that I've seen their creator talk about is him being like a Bitcoiner, and like he wants people to be able to buy more Bitcoin. So like collateralize your Bitcoin to buy more Bitcoin was his whole pitch. But what he really wants is collateralize your Bitcoin so that I can take your Bitcoin and help my company out, which is incredibly frustrating. The good thing is, a lot of what we took out is still in Bitcoin because we haven't spent it all in the house yet. So we still have some remaining, which is great.
Yeah.
In that sphere, we
Right.
still, we're still doing fine with Bitcoin, just not losing 1.1 is difficult.
That makes my chest hurt. That makes my tummy hurt.
All the hurt.
That physically hurts my body to hear. 1.1, dude.
Yeah.
That's all right. Well, anger and resentments are the luxury of normal men. So we will not allow that to be a victim moment, because to your point, what can you do except learn and move on? And maybe with the remaining, maybe with the cash that came, because did they basically sent you don't even have it. Do you have the cash? Like when this smart contract executed and kind of kicked you out and took your Bitcoin, did they send you the difference in US dollars? Have they not sent that to you yet? Did they attempt to deliver sovereign tokens instead?
No, it's Bitcoin. They sent the Bitcoin. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay, so what happened was they said, hey, we're going to strip this away and then send you this back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so you still have that Bitcoin, but you lost 25 some odd % of what you put in, which you were trying to not spend.
Yeah.
So now you could, if you wanted, take those 3 Bitcoin and go to a different company and get some fiat in exchange for that to continue working on your home, right?
Yeah. We're going to finish the home without having to do that, so that's A-okay.
Okay. The poor
like
man's been in an airplane crash, and we're like, now look, this airplane,
Yeah.
you could get in it and fly again. He's
Yeah.
like, hey, look, dude, let me relax for like just a minute, please.
Yeah, I was going to say, it seems like it's a little bit too soon to be providing him with like the alternative of
When
like,
did this?
get your B-lock?
Yeah, because we taped February 24th. Today is November 11th. When did you start the loan, and when did you get wrecked?
We started, let's see, I want to say end of August, beginning of September, and we were wrecked by the end of September.
What?
Whoa,
a
that is-
freaking 1 month?
Oh my
Yep.
gosh, that makes it extra hard that you lost 1.1 in under a month.
Dude, that is
insane.
traumatizing.
Yeah.
Traumatizing. Now, and again, if I can just try to understand, through no fault of your own, somebody else did some stuff, and then they came to your loan since it was so nice and healthy to repeg their own token. Like, literally no action of yours led to this happening, correct?
Correct. Other than taking out the original loan.
Was it another person with a loan who did this to you, or was it the company's policy with their token thing that did this to you?
It's the company's policy with their token exchange.
Dude.
Yeah.
All right, so I really appreciate you sacrificing yourself on the altar of learning.
Yes.
For all of us, as we our season 2 is the B-Lock season.
It is the B-Lock season, and we have 3 more episodes planned today, and I have to find a way to not be angry on number 23's behalf for the rest of the day,
Yeah.
because I can't make good tape if I'm pissed off.
I need you to know we're going to
we
talk
can-
about this.
Yeah,
for a
we can
long
get into
time.
some happy stuff. No worries. So that you're
All
not
right, well-
so angry.
Okay, let's do this. Let's take a couple of minutes here, kind of like as a palate refresher.
Let's do.
What are the highlights of the happy moments for you from last episode until now? Because when we taped with you in late February, you were preparing to head west into the mountains for a more sovereign lifestyle, a more self-reliant lifestyle. What are some of the high notes of these 9 months between episodes?
Heck yeah. So, I mean, first off, we sold our house in Atlanta, immediately exchanged all that fiat for Bitcoin. So,
Yeah.
which was a phenomenal choice. Like, it was around 76 to 90 during that time period. So,
Wow.
Wow.
we
that's
were
nice.
very happy with that, which is why we rushed to sell our house, because I just didn't think Bitcoin was ever going to go back down that low again. So we didn't even have to put it on the market. It sold so quick. It was great. So then just moved everything out here. And during that process, I also am about 90% of the way to turning my company into a Bitcoin company. Like, we're only going to accept Bitcoin. We're only going to have Bitcoin on our balance sheet. I'm going to pay all my contributors and hosts and stuff in Bitcoin. So I'm excited about that. And
That's awesome.
That's
Yeah.
a bright side of this whole thing. And then, man, just living up here, what we wanted was a slower life. And it's interesting to have something like Bitcoin, which is so technologically advanced as far as an economic solution to inflation and all these other negatives in the economic world. It's so interesting to have that so intertwined with living in the mountains, just in nature, like back to basics, with fewer things going on, having to deal with fewer problems, and just living a more peaceful life, which I don't know. There's something strange about that, but also kind of beautiful. So, yeah.
There it is, right?
Yeah.
I told you, sometimes your problem is you don't have enough of the problem yet.
Excellent way to bring that in.
When technology is forcing you to live a life that is too fast,
Yeah.
too saturated with unimportant information, too saturated with connections that you can't cut off at the desired moment, the problem is not to strip all the technology away and become a Luddite. The solution, I'm sorry, the solution is not to back away from it. The solution is to go so deep into the technology that you find a sufficiently advanced form of technology that then solves everything for you. So if you're if you're 1 foot into the world of technology, which is to be on the internet and social media, and you're getting and emails and just go a little bit farther until you get to Bitcoin. Put all your time and energy into Bitcoin, and it will then take you far enough in to slow you all the way back down.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're right about if your problem's not big enough, it's not your solution yet, or however you say that.
Sometimes the solution to your problem is to get enough of the problem for the problem to become the solution.
Yeah, we got to work on a better way of saying that. That's a smidge wordy.
That's as clear as sovereign smart contracts. I don't understand. I don't know what the problem is. Savage. Too soon, y'all. Too soon. But we're doing it for the clicks. All right. What were you gonna say?
I don't remember at all.
Okay. Well, listen. Here's what I'll say. That was an incredible Bitcoin baby update. And
amazing.
Just what I love is that anyone listening to this episode who is a satillionaire and who has reached a point where they're interested in learning what they can do with their Bitcoin, just like number 3, Justin.
Yep.
He knows not to go to sovereign now, period, because number 23 has come on and said, look, guys, I can personally testify to a bad experience. Mm-hmm. And even someone who might want to go to sovereign because they feel like they get it, they will at least have some context around the risk that they might face. So I really love that we can create an episode like this with you, Jake, that will be an evergreen addition to our library for the ages, right? I mean, it's no secret that part of what I'm trying to do here at Sad Chats is to build a digital library of Alexandria that cannot burn down, but in fact serve as a resource to everyone who's like, hey, I want to pursue a B-lock. Okay, Mal's episode, Sean's episode, Justin's episode, and now Jake coming in with this really, I mean, 1 dang old month.
I really think we should do a playlist.
Yeah.
On our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
On the B-lock.
Well, and also we should not to just sometimes when I agree with something, I literally just move past it without acknowledging
Sometimes
it.
we would like the affirmation of that's a great idea.
That definitely doesn't seem like a good trait that I have.
It's not ideal.
Where I literally just then, as soon as I agree with it, I just dismiss it and don't even, and like the way that I agree with it is I just move past it. That's not right.
Well, that's what I do to ideas I think are dumb. So that's not helpful.
See? Okay.
I just move past the things and I'm like,
yeah,
all right.
Whereas if I think it's dumb, I stop and I'm like, no.
Oh, or I'll say, that's an idea. Or that's a thought.
Now I'm going to have to remember when she does that to me. Let's make that list. And I do like that you still have a lot of positivity in your life and everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And you got a beautiful home out there and you're doing your thing. So, excellent Bitcoin baby update. There is a whole lot more to what has gone on in between these 2 episodes, and a whole lot more to Bitcoin and to some of the themes from your original episode that we didn't even get into today, that we will ever be, we will ever be able to fit into a single chat about sats. So we do ask each of our guests if they would be willing to come back on in 9 months to give us an update, which at this stage would be your Bitcoin toddler.
Yeah.
Your 18-month update is your Bitcoin toddler update, okay?
I don't know what we do after that.
I can't wait till it's years from now and we're like, now Jake's back for his Bitcoin can now drive a car update. You know what I mean?
Wow, that's really far. I was going to go first grader.
Yeah, okay. Exactly. So would you be willing to come back on in another 9 months and give us another update on your life and the impact that Bitcoin has had on it?
Of course, man. Yeah. By then I'll have some much better news, I think.
Yeah.
Good.
Let's go.
We all want you to have better news.
So let's turn it over then to our lead sponsor,
Yes.
Ithaca Hummus.
So today we will be tasting the French onion. And Ithaca hummus reminds us too buy the dip.
And seriously, do buy it if you're able to.
Absolutely.
It's yummy. It's yummy.
So we're going to act as your taste buds today in the studio. Here, grab yourself a little cracker. I like to get a little half cracker for the lady bite.
This is a man-sized amount of woven wheat for everyone who's
asking questions.
For everyone who's wondering the correct amount of woven wheat, this is the correct man-sized amount. And this is the fat glob as well for everyone who's wondering.
All right, we're going to take a bite. Ready,
Cheers.
Go. So good. The salty from my woven wheat really added to the caramelized onion in this bite. More so than before.
Good crunch on the woven wheat. Nice onion flavor.
Totally.
And I think Chris puts like different onions in there too, Jake.
Oh, really?
It's not just like white onions. I think the recipe includes like some leeks.
Oh, dang.
Some yellow onions.
Maybe some shallots.
Yeah. Like it's like different.
We definitely have shallots. We
Nice.
have garlic, black pepper, crushed red pepper, which is interesting.
Maybe the onions are just like there's like a kind of a variety. I don't know.
Yeah, it just says onion.
I think you know, because there's lots of different onions, so I think there's multiple onion types in there.
The
but
sweet Vidalia.
anyways, ithacahummus.com
Yep.
is where Jake can go to figure out where in the mountains he can get some of this.
Yeah, excellent.
yeah.
Tasty
Because you need
dip.
to have some in your fridge if you don't already, man.
Yeah, I would love to have some in my fridge. I love a good hummus.
9 months from now, a small SatChats drone will airdrop a tub to you 5 minutes before we start taping. That's the level that I'd like to reach,
Wow,
quite honestly.
That's such a short time frame for the drone.
Things happen fast online. We learned that here today.
That's true. That's true.
And we're moving quickly, too. All right, well, I tell you what. Let's do this. Because your story today is incredible. Probably the most compelling. Well, we've had some really good Bitcoin baby updates.
Yeah.
Freddie's meme coin relapse was good. Justin's second home sale into Bitcoin was good.
Yeah.
Yep.
But this one was really good as well.
Jesse's retirement revelation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ultimately, what I would like to do here on SatChats today is start rebuilding your 1.1.
Yeah.
Okay?
Agreed.
One Satoshi at a time is how we rebuild.
Quite literally.
But, of course, you have your choice here, and Anna Bevan's going to make it for you.
All right. We believe in value for value here at SatChats, and we would like to give you your choice or an offer of your choice of $50 in fiat for coming on our show, or $50 in Bitcoin, which is 48,300 Satoshis. What would you like?
If I take the fiat, does the case come with it? Because that'll probably be worth more than the fiat at a certain point in time.
You're absolutely right, and we've already discussed my love of organizational things, and unfortunately, this does stay with us.
Okay, then
It's
let's
actually
go with
for
the sats.
Let's go with the sats.
All right.
Thank you. Okay.
Excellent.
Let's establish that the sats have been gone with.
Yeah,
Okay.
established.
Bringing our scoreboard to 144 who have stacked the sats with us. Nice clean multiple of 9.
That's nice.
Along with 9 who have chosen the cash. The case does make that money look pretty attractive.
Yeah.
But number one,
does.
don't be fooled. Just because it's in a museum style presentation doesn't mean it's art. Number two, that's more for our safety than anything else, because could you imagine being in the same room as a slip of fiat currency that is exposed to the air? What kind of impact does that have on the environment, for example? Where has that bill been? Is it, what if it like shoots out spores like a mushroom or something? Do you know what I mean? A lot of people don't know, but that fiat currency, it needs to be handled with care, okay? So that's a protective case that, prevents any Chernobyl-esque exposure to unknown centralized radiation of any sorts, right?
Exactly what I was going to say.
People may not know this, but part of the reason why it's in that case is so that I don't touch it. I don't want as a man, even off of this show, I don't touch my wife. My wife handles the cash. I won't touch it. I won't touch it with my bare hands.
You even put it in a little zippy bag for your children.
Yeah. Like I'll move it if I have to. Like I'll move it with like a little pin. I'll like scoot it. I don't.
But a very specific pin.
Yes. Yeah. This is the only pin I use in my life. Because look, man, I'm 40 years old. I've found things that work. I don't need to continue to explore which pin is the best pin. The medium blue big pin is the best pin. That's all there is to it. All right, that's enough
incorrect.
of a tangent for me. People are like, dude, this guy is amazing.
That's
Oh, dang.
Oh, that's a beautiful
That thing
pen.
looks 3D printed and futuristic.
I know.
That's my favorite pen.
Oh man, I'm a Le Pen pen girl.
Well, I love that for you. Both
Okay.
of you are wrong. It's actually this pin, but that's okay. So
Okay, fair enough.
let's go and give old Jake Master an opportunity to send our Satillionaires any old where to absorb some of the content from your wonderful channel that you have, any of the most recent docu-series that you produced. You know, you are a Satillionaire.
Yeah.
He's number 23. If you're in the audience, you know, and want to spend more time with Jake, where can they go to spend more time with Jake?
Heck yeah. So I own a company called Peaceful Sea Productions. You can go to peacefulsea.network to check that out. We produce multiple podcasts, documentaries, docu-series. We're in pre-production on our first feature film that should come out late next year. It's about a soldier who had, one of the wildest experiences of all time while deployed in Afghanistan. And so we're doing a movie on him. And then, docuseries right now, The Cascade Effect is the biggest thing I've ever produced, and it is ruffling some feathers in Montana, Montana law enforcement. So, yeah, head on over to peacefulsea.network and check all that out.
Satillionaires, if you enjoyed the pain of this episode and getting your questions answered, please subscribe. When we get to 10,000 subscribers, we're going to give away 2 million satoshis to one lucky subscriber. So don't delay. We want to get that goal before Christmas.
Yes.
So we'd love your help in getting there. And if you'd like to find out more ways to support and to sponsor, we're looking for sponsors. We would love to have them. And if you'd like to...
Sovereign.
Not sovereign. Please, no. But if you'd like to join the studio, whether it's virtual or in person, you can find all of that information in our show notes. And Sat Chats is for educational purposes only and should not be construed as financial advice, and our guest views are their own. And so until next time, keep stacking those sats and read the smart contracts.
Yeah. Stack those sats. Let's go.
Absolutely.
See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye.